this here, we're going to look at chapter 1.1. This is Imperial measures of length. So we're going to be converting within Imperial. So we're staying within Imperial. We're going to go from feet to inches to yards to miles. Okay? And what we're going to use is we're going to use these conversions here. Okay? So good thing to remember is that 1 foot has 12 inches, 1 yard has 3 feet, and 1 yard has 36 inches, and that's because you've got 3 times 12, which equals 36. So you've got 3 feet in, and there's 12 inches in each of those feet, so that gives you 36 inches. And then for miles, 1 mile is 1,760 yards, and each yard has 3 feet. So if you take this number, multiply it by 3, you'll get 5,280 feet. Okay, now let's do the first question here. It says convert 7 yards to feet. So first we're going to convert it to feet, and then we're going to convert it to inches. So let me just figure that out. Okay, so we're going to use the conversion 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So if I have 7 yards, how do I figure out how many feet there are? Multiply it by 3, and we get 21 feet. Okay, now if I have 7 yards and I want to convert 7 yards to inches, what am I going to do? Well, how many inches in 1 yard? 1 yard equals 36 inches. So what am I going to multiply 7 by? 36. So what does that give me? 252 inches. Okay, now I want to convert 62 inches so that it's in terms of feet and inches. Now what we want to do is we want to, you know how you tell someone how tall you are, like you're 5'3" tall, or you're 6'2" tall. That's what we're meaning when we say feet and inches. So in order to convert 62 inches into feet and yards, we need to find out how many whole feet there are, and then what's the leftover inches. Well, how many inches are in 1 foot? 12. So if I divide 62 by 12, that's going to tell me how many feet there are. So there's 5 feet, and then there's 2 inches left. So I convert that to a mixed fraction. So this tells me how many feet there are, and the numerator here tells me how many inches. All right, so then this is 5 feet and 2 inches. Okay, and that's what we're looking for as our answer. So we want to know how many full feet and how many inches. Okay. Now let's do the same. How do I convert 62 inches so that it's in yards, feet, and inches? So I want the answer to have yard, feet, and inches. Okay, all together. Now so far I've got inches, right? I can just work from here. So I've got 2 inches, but then can I figure out how many yards are in 5 feet? Well, how many feet are in 1 yard? Right? So there's 3 feet in 1 yard. So if I were to change this to a mixed fraction, what's it going to look like? 1 and 2 over 3. So this tells me how many yards there are, and this numerator tells me how many feet there are. So this is now 1 yard and 2 feet and 2 inches. So 62 inches is the same as 5 feet 2 inches, and it's also the same as 1 yard, 2 feet, and 2 inches. Okay? Okay, so now let's have a look at number 2, where it says Ben buys baseboard for a bedroom. Now, do you guys know what baseboards are?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so if you look at the floor and you look at where the floor and the wall connect, it's that connecting piece. Sometimes it's wood, sometimes it's plastic. It's usually a couple of inches long. So if I take the camera, and oh geez, we're going on a crazy trip here. Okay, so you see, okay, how am I going to do this? You see this line? Oh boy, this is not easy. Looks like E.T. phoning home. Okay, I'm trying to do this. This isn't working. Okay, you see where my pencil's pointing to? That black line that goes around the room? That's the baseboard. Now, what do you notice about the doorway? There's no baseboard, right? Because you'd trip if there was baseboard. Now, we don't measure closets or doorways because you don't need baseboard there. And Ben has measured that he needs 37 feet of baseboard. But he's not going to go to the hardware store and tell them 37 feet. He's going to tell them that he needs it in how many yards he needs, how many yards and feet he needs. So what length of baseboard is needed in yards and feet? So we need to convert this 37 feet so that it's in yards and feet. Okay, well, how many yards are in, or sorry, how many feet is in 1 yard? 3. So we're going to go 37 divided by 3. And what is that converted to as a fraction, as a mixed fraction? 12 and 1/3. Okay, so that means that this is how many yards, and the numerator is how many leftover feet. So he needs 12 yards and 1 foot. Okay. Ben needs 12 yards and 1 foot. Make that 1 look like a 1. Okay, so now here, the baseboard material is sold by the yard. Okay, so this makes more sense of why he wanted it measured in yards. Because he has to go to the hardware store and they sell it in terms of yards. It's $5.99 a yard. How much baseboard is he going to have to buy when he goes to the hardware store? He has to round up, right? So round up 12 feet and 1 yard, 12 yards and 1 foot, and 1 foot up to the next yard. So Ben has to buy 13 yards. All right. So how much is that going to cost him? So cost equals 13 yards times $5.99. And that is a total of $77.87 before taxes. All right. Sound good? So before taxes, that's how much money he needs. Okay. So how would we add on the taxes then? With taxes, what's our tax rate right now? 13%. So we would have 77.87 times, how do we multiply it in? 1.13 equals, and so 77.87 times 1.13 equals $87.99 after taxes. It didn't ask us, it just said before taxes. I know, I just couldn't help but figure out the taxes, just because in real life you have to pay taxes, right? What are two things that are certain in life?
Death and taxes.
Death and taxes. You got it. You got it. All right. And maybe some home renovations. Okay. All right. So here, Tyrell has 4 yards of cord, and Tyrell's going to make friendship bracelets with them. Each bracelet is 8 inches long. Now, how many bracelets is he able to make? Okay, what do you notice about the units here and the units here? They're not the same. So what we need to do is we need to convert 4 yards so that it's in inches. And how do we do that? Okay, so we can multiply by 36. So 4 times 36. And what does that give us? 144 inches. Okay, so Tyrell has 144 inches of cord. Now, how many bracelets can he make? 144 divided by 8 inches, and that gives us a total of 18 bracelets. So Tyrell can make 18 bracelets. All right. Now, this next part says use unit analysis to verify, to check the conversions. So what unit analysis refers to, it refers to the conversion factors. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert yards to inches, but in order to do that, we're going to do it step by step. So we're going to go yard to feet, and then we're going to convert feet to inches. And we're going to use this ratio here, and I'll show you why we're using these ratios that we've set up. So you've got 3 feet. What is 3 feet in terms of yards? It's 1 yard. So do you agree with me when this essentially reduces to 1, because you've got the same amount over this amount? Like this is the same as this, right? So essentially it equals 1. So it's not going to change anything when I multiply by it. So what's another one? If I have 12 inches, this is 1 foot, right? So this, what's the value of this here? 1, right? So it's the same thing. So it's not going to change anything. Now in unit analysis, what we want to do is, we know we're starting with yards, and we want to end up with inches, right? So we have to somehow get from here all the way to inches, and we're going to be using these ratios that we've set up. Now, I have 3 feet over 1 yard. Now, why did I decide to put the yard in the denominator as opposed to the numerator? What's going to happen with this yard right here? This is going to reduce out, right? Okay. Now, I'm not done. What else do I need to put in here? I need to get to inches somehow. So I need to use this ratio that I have. So why do I have 12 inches over the 1 foot as opposed to the other way around? Because so that I can reduce them out. I want the same unit on opposite ends, right? I want one in the numerator, one in the denominator, so that I can cancel them out. And so what is this? What does this give me here now? What's left? Have I gotten to inches? Yeah. So what is this here? So I'm left with this 4, I'm left with this 3, and I'm left with 12 inches. Okay. So what is 3 times 4 times 12? Sorry.
144.
That is 144 inches. Is this the same thing that I got up here? Yeah. So that's just another way that I can verify that I've done it correctly. Okay? And that's all we're doing with that. All right. So now we're going to have a look at our last example on this page, and it has to do with maps and scale factor. All right. You guys all know what a map is? A map? A map is a teeny tiny drawing of a certain area. It's, you know what? It can be teeny tiny.
It can be, but
Can be. Some maps are bigger than others.
but you were trying to get all maps into a system.
They're small.
I asked what's a map, you said that's teeny tiny.
Teeny tiny picture. Well, if I were to go on my phone and just find, like, if I go to a map, it's going to take forever to load. That's not really helpful, is it? What's on Centerpoint Drive? What's on Centerpoint Drive? Anything? No. Okay. All right. So, anyways, we know what a map is. A map is a smaller drawing of the real world. Okay? Now, this question is saying that a map has a scale of 1 to 4,750,000. What does that mean?
It's like 1.
So, this is on the map,
Yeah, and then
and this is
in the real world.
in the real world. Okay? This is real world. Okay. Now, here it's saying the distance on the map, this is on the map, is 1 3/4 of an inch. What is the distance between these two towns in the nearest mile? So in the real world. All right. Now, can I write 1 3/4 as 1.75 inches? Just because it's going to be easier to put into my calculator. So how many inches? So this is on the map. And how do I figure out what it is in the real world? So 1.75 times 475,0000. Okay. So what does that give me? 8312500 inches. Okay. Am I done the question? No. Why am I not done the question? Because I need to convert that to miles. So convert 8312500 inches to miles. Okay, how am I going to do that? Well, I can use my conversion chart here, but I don't have anything that takes me directly from inches to miles. I have miles here, I have feet, but I don't have inches to miles. So how am I going to deal with this?
So convert it into feet first and then to...
Okay, so can I figure out, using this, can I figure out how many inches are in 1 mile? Times, so I'd have to times this number by 12, and that's going to give me inches, right? Okay. Now I can write how many inches there are. Okay. And then if I have feet, so I'm going to divide by 5280. That's how many feet. Can I do a multiplying all in here so that it's in one step? And then I could multiply this by 12 inches. And I'm going to double bracket it around so that all that stays in my denominator. Okay? If I want to do it step by step like that, I can say 8312500 over 63360 inches. And that's going to give me how many miles? So how many miles do we end up with? 131.19 miles. So seaward to Anchorage is approximately now how am I going to round it? It says to the nearest mile. Approximately 131 miles apart. Okay? So there's a few examples to show you how to work within the unit system of imperial units. You have to remember those conversions, and if you don't have one that's already there for you, like we didn't have one to go from miles to inches, we had to convert twice, right? Okay, so here's your homework. Make sure you guys do that, okay?